All right. Well, hi, Amy Chilson.
Hey, Susanna, how's it going?
Doing great. Well, I am really fascinated by what you just told me before we started. You just came back from your eighth Camino in Spain. And I honestly, I don't even know one person in my circle that has done one. So, can you tell me what you experienced? I mean, this is your eighth Camino. Tell me what happened out there. I mean,
Absolutely.
how does your body handle that length of walking in terms of mileage? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, and a little background on the Camino de Santiago. It's an ancient pilgrimage now for over several thousand years. Um, People would walk from all over Europe to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. The Cathedral of St. James had a lot of significance specifically for Catholics. Now, I'm not a religious person. However, I love the hero's journey. I love walking in nature and what happens to the body, this biochemical physiology that happens by walking in nature in silence for so long. So it's really set up for me as an athlete and someone who just loves the transformational journey to walk for 30 days in beautiful fairy tale scenery. And I started this 8 years ago, and since then I've walked now 8 pilgrimages from both France and Portugal. Susanna, apparently I like to walk across countries. And it's fun for me, and it's challenging, and there's adversity and friendship and all, just it is the hero's journey. If you're familiar with that, with Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, it is such an adventure. And my first pilgrimage was for 40 days walking with a backpack, 20-pound backpack, over mountains with all kinds of terrain and weather and bed bugs and, sleep deprivation. Like it's challenging. I know that probably doesn't sound like a lot of fun how I'm describing it, but it is. It's fun and it's transformational. And I was called to go walk my 8th one just over a month ago. Without any planning, I just bought a one-way ticket, Susanna, and I flew to Spain. I was not even walking outside because Wisconsin weather, very cold, so I had no training or conditioning. I started walking my 8th pilgrimage from the border of France up in the Pyrenees and jumped right into these 15, 20, even 24-mile days.
Wow.
Day after day after day. And now every pilgrimage I've walked prior, I have had problems with my legs and feet.
I was wondering about that because we'll talk about it in a second. When I went to Paris, one day I hit 9 miles and I was dragging my feet into the hotel room. I'm like, how does Amy do this? And she walks twice as much per day.
Yeah, and it's a shock to the system. Mm-hmm. So you know what it's like when you're going from zero or just very minimal walking to, I just walked 15 miles today or 20. And for me, it was hiking over mountains. Wow. Bad weather, very dangerous terrain. Alone, I was walking 50% of the time in flip-flops, which is its own story because my feet don't like shoes. So the gauntlet of challenges had been like cast down on this pilgrimage. Bad weather, horrible terrain, dangerous, difficult, long distances without training. And so in prior pilgrimages, I would always have blisters, lots of blisters. I would have injuries or problems, things that would stop me from completing even a full pilgrimage. And so I really was hoping this one would be different. And I did find the formula. And here's the good news. I walked this entire pilgrimage, 27 days, that long distance without training, no injuries, no blisters, and no foot or leg problems. It's miraculous.
Wow. Well, before you go into how that happened, because you've done the first one, the second one, without what you're about to share, what's the difference? What's the contrast between the two? So a person that's going to walk 20 miles a day on average, what do they experience?
Well, because of the long distance, the weight with the backpack, the body is constantly inflamed. So you're feeling inflammation at a very intense level as a pilgrim. Also, the pain of, what's going on in the feet and the legs, the blisters, the inflammation and swelling of the feet and legs. And so there's a lot of discomfort, even just, a lot of pain that can come from that type of, daily regimen of get up, walk 20 miles over mountains in rough terrain. And so what's happening for a pilgrim in their experiences, their body's sore, they may be getting some injuries and some foot and leg conditions or problems, and yet day after day, they're still getting up and doing it again. And that was my problem, was the blisters upon blisters, the swelling, the edema. On top of that, shin splints, and just there's so many different things that can go wrong for a pilgrim on a journey like that, or any athlete that's doing long distance events.
And do they tend to, what percentage do you think will quit because they just can't go another day with the injuries and the inflammation and all of that? That they just decide, okay, I've come to the end of my road here on the Camino?
I don't know the amount, but I know it's a high amount. Unless they start sending their bag ahead and paying for services that will, transport them so they can do shorter distances. Mm-hmm. When I was out there this last time, because of the weather and everything going on, I watched so many pilgrims quit, and they had to, because they had injuries or just they couldn't even walk anymore. So seeing their mental anguish and frustration of this dream of walking a Camino, sometimes people would save money and train for this for years, and to get out there and to have all those problems with their legs and their feet and have to quit is a travesty.
Oh, wow. So what was different this time? Because you came back, no injuries. You had no training before. You just got up and literally went within a week.
Yeah.
And the weather wasn't under the same conditions you're used to. It was colder, I heard. Maybe there was even a blackout one time. There was no power for the entire, I think, Spain, a little bit of Portugal and France. How did you manage to, have the experience you had this time that was different?
Yeah, so it was an adversity-rich Camino. That is for sure. More intense than I've seen on all 7 prior. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to just show up with no training and have no injury, no blister, no foot or leg problems. It's truly miraculous. Every pilgrim at least gets blisters, or sore legs and feet, right? You just think about it, that's going to happen. So why didn't that happen to me? That's the question. What did I do differently on this Camino that made the difference? And I would say that there's a couple things that I did. I did a lot of soaking my feet and legs in cold water because the weather was so, there was snow even in the mountains where we were hiking. It was very cold. So rain, hail, sleet, mud. I soaked my feet and legs in whatever stream or river I could put them in to take the inflammation down. And I would do that sometimes even twice a day. And tell all the pilgrims to come with me. I know you've got inflammation. Come on over, take that down, right? Or soak it in basins of water. So that was huge. And I would call this my secret weapon, my magic tool on the Camino that I put in my backpack is the Nu Skin Renew Spa, which is what it's called here, microcurrent device, adaptive microcurrent device that I love so much and I'm a champion for because it's done so much for my health and wellness already and my body. And it's also called the Well Spa in 50 other markets around the world. This amazing little tool, light, put in my backpack, went everywhere. I could whip it out and use for a few minutes, give myself a treatment in the morning and at night. And I'll let you tell what it's doing to the body, but this, I could kiss it. No other pilgrim had it. And I actually gave a treatment to one of my favorite pilgrims on the Camino. He was going to have to quit. My friend Aaron from San Francisco rolled his ankle, his huge mushroom ankle, was going to have to quit, which is, the time, the money, the pain, the loss of memories and experiences, all of that. Nobody wants to have to quit. I gave him a 10-minute treatment on his leg and it saved him. He was able to walk the next day with no problems. And so This secret magic trick was, if any pilgrim or athlete has this with them, it will make or break your event. And this made my event for me, the Camino. Being able to do just a quick 10-minute treatment in the morning and at night at the end of my day, took all that inflammation down, all the swelling and edema and fluid retention, right? And it made my muscles, everything in my body feel so good and relaxed. And I, like a magic trick, I would watch the puffiness and the swelling go down just in a few minutes of using this.
That would make sense because you had the right tool on you to do that, because that's what it was designed for. And just to give you just to explain what this does, and it's a smart device. So a lot of frequency-based or microcurrent-based devices out in the market, there's a learning curve for people to use on their body. What I loved about this is that with one touch of a button, there's sensors in here that are measuring your skin, your muscles, every aspect profile of your body, and it's micro adjusting those frequencies automatically on its own. And so where it feels it needs more treatment, it'll put more frequency on it. Muscles that are contracting because of spasming, because they're over exercised, producing lactic acid and all the things that cause soreness, edema, that the body is trying to heal, except it's under stress. And so what this will do is take that and will relax the muscles. It will cause more circulation to happen and warms up the muscle, and it sort of helps the body to relax and reduce any potential injury that could be happening significantly. So that's why you feel so amazing after, and it doesn't take long. It's like 5 minutes to 15 minutes, and you feel so amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love. I have 2 of these because my husband and I will fight if we have one.
And that's another great point. Like for the pilgrim families out there, a lot of pilgrims will bring their family or partner. They could one person carries it in their backpack. It's super light. I think it's like 120 grams. It's very light. Super light, yeah. Pull it out even midway on their walk. If they feel pain, feel inflammation, they can reduce that and take care of it, give themselves relief immediately, and the whole family could pass it around and use it. And it's funny, it's like all the pilgrims were watching me because I was very public with my treatments. I could get to a hostel for pilgrims. So I'd say I walked 20 miles. I'm sitting out there on the street in front of a church or a building, waiting to go in where they check us in with all the other pilgrims. I have videos of me doing this. And they see me whip this out of my backpack and start giving myself a treatment right there on the ground in the street or in the airport or wherever, right? And it's immediate relief, and immediate visibly, physically, physiologically. I say there's a feeling of euphoria. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like to me when I give myself a treatment, whether it's up here for tension. A lot of people get a lot of, puffiness and tension right here and up in the neck and shoulder areas, like, carrying a backpack, or the hip area where there's, the groin, there's a lot of lymph nodes concentrated there. Wherever one treats oneself, it is immediate relief and results. And that I am a walking testimony that I can pull off a Camino without any training and have no blisters, no foot or leg problems, and no injury. It's miraculous.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I was in Paris for about a week with my daughter, and first day I didn't realize that we do a lot of walking in Paris, because for me I couldn't understand how to read the metro directions. I kept getting lost, so I ended up walking more. The first day I walked 9 miles, and I was walking into my hotel room and my calves were aching, and the bottom of my feet were just like, oh my gosh, my feet, I don't know if I can walk tomorrow. That was my question. So I had it with me. Thank God I had it with me. did a treatment on my calves, my legs, underneath my feet, because I'm into reflexology. So I understand that there's points in the bottom of the feet that if you rub it through, especially with microcurrent, you're actually helping your entire body and top as well, because lymphatic on the top of your foot is lymphatic representation. So I did both, and I slept like a baby. My feet were just fine. My legs softened up like I hadn't walked that day. And the next day I walked 6 miles. It wasn't a lot, but it was 6 miles with no problem. It was amazing.
Aren't you glad you took that with you to Paris?
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yeah, and it was a lot of walking for me. On average, I don't walk a lot. I mean, I walk, but it's like maybe a mile or two. So it's not much. But no, it's a must-have. It sounds to me, if you're someone that I'm seeing more people going to Spain with a Camino. It is there's some essentials that people should have in their backpack, and this is one of those essentials. It's like if you have it, you're going to save a lot of painless, days, and you're going to extend your time there, or at least improve the chances of completing it without a lot of injury, and if any injury, it sounds like, and you're going to feel great, it sounds like, right?
Yep. And that's it. It's like you want to, there are already so many challenges when you get out there as a pilgrim to walk. Let's just say for a month, right? You're walking for a month across a nation is already hard. And then you're sleep deprived. There's just so many different challenges. Why not give oneself the opportunity to have the most amount of joy and the least amount of suffering? Because for me, this is such a no-brainer. Every pilgrim should have this as an essential tool in their backpack with them. And they're going to see such a different experience, especially if they've walked it before, or they're an athlete or athletic person. What is it like to do that long distance type of hiking and walking, but not have any problems? Not suffer, not have any pain. I mean, and then the risk of permanent injury as well. I mean, it's just that I call it the secret weapon for a reason, because I felt like I had an unfair advantage out there on the Camino because everybody was watching me. I was the girl that miraculously had no problems or no blisters. And they're like, she's using that. She just came out here without training, and she's the one that's having like the best Camino. They were putting it together. And I was like, I wish everybody had this.
Yeah. Did you say you're like outbeating 20-year-olds out there?
There were guys in their early 20s. There was a couple groups that I walked with from Brazil and from Italy. And you'd think that these guys in their early 20s, like 20, 21, great guys, that would be like going way farther than me, going faster. And that wasn't the case. And I had my 48th birthday out on the Camino, and I was going faster and longer, but with zero problems. And they were all plagued with leg and foot problems, blisters, and they just couldn't believe it. They would watch me go, and they're like, "How are you doing it? You're more than double my age."
Yeah. And you mentioned that you carry 20 pounds. So that's taxing on your shoulder too, on your back. So did you use it on your back to help with that too?
I did. About every few days, I would give myself a really nice, quick treatment right here before I'd start my day. And so going into the day with my 20, let's say 18 to 20 pounds, because it would reduce in size over, the period of time because of consumables and topicals. I needed everything in my backpack, by the way. And this device did not contribute to the weight, which is awesome for people when you realize like this is going to make your event, make your pilgrimage, and it doesn't weigh anything. I would whip this out and I would give myself a nice little 5-10 minutes right here, feel it relax. You actually see it go down in inflammation. And then when I'd strap on that 20-pound backpack and go walk, 24 miles over mountains, I felt great. And if I needed to stop and give myself a treatment midway, I could. There it is in my backpack, nice and easy. And at the end of the day, I would just sit there, put my feet in cold water, and then rub it over my feet and my legs and feel amazing.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Amie, for sharing your experience. That's profound. And I think it's essential must-have for anyone who's thinking about going to do this, the Camino, or even a hiker, if you're, someone who's in sports, is someone who has aches and pains and muscles and uses, I mean, I think that is one of the most essential and light tools. It's like having a massage therapist in your pocket, in your backpack, and that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your story. That's powerful.
Thank you, Susanna. It blew my mind. I was just so thrilled, and I still feel like surreal. That really happened. I just walked across Spain and had no problems. It was amazing.
Yeah. What's the average like Camino length of time? Like, is it 500 miles, 600 miles?
It depends what route someone takes. There's different routes throughout Portugal, France. Some people the ancient pilgrim would walk from their home, wherever that was in Europe. They could be walking from Belgium, and they would walk all the way to Santiago in Spain, and then they'd have to go walk back home. So we got on a plane or a bus, and so we don't have to walk home. I guess a few pilgrims will do it, but on average, I would say the route that most people will walk is going to be 30 to 40 days of walking. And that can be over 1,000 kilometers. So yeah, it's a long way.
Wow.
And what you said, having a massage therapist in your pocket, in your backpack, is absolutely true, because this actually gave me more results and relief immediately than I would get from like an hour and a half massage. And there are masseuses out on the Camino. You've got to schedule it. You've got to pay for it. You've got to make it work into your system. And every day you're moving forward. It's not like you're stationary. A lot of people that got hurt or injured would have to stay at a certain place for days, weeks to rehabilitate if they had the time and money to do that, right? A lot of people didn't. So a lot of people that got hurt or injured weren't able to rehabilitate on the way, rehabilitate and rejuvenate their bodies, would have to quit. They'd have to go buy a plane ticket and go home, and it's so sad to have to do that. You want to have the memory, the experience, the thrill of fulfillment of a dream, walking a pilgrimage. So to me, once again, secret magic tool, this is something not every pilgrim should have in their backpack that the whole family can use.
Yeah.
But also anybody that is active or wants to be more active, we all have lymphatic systems that need detoxing. So we all have lymphatic systems, and this is the tool that helps us.
Yeah. How long treatment, you made a good point. So there's people that have to schedule masseuse, takes a day, you have to go there, just pay for it. How long were their treatments? How long were those treatments that you did on a daily basis?
When I was on the Camino, time is of the essence, because from when you wake up to finishing the day, survive the day, have a little bit of time at the end of the day to rehabilitate your body. There's not a lot of time, and you're always searching for food, for a bed. I know, like simple things, right? Hand washing your laundry, licking your wounds at the end of the day. You know how much time pilgrims spend in blister surgery? Sometimes hours every day, pre and post. They're always doing the blister surgery, trying to self-massage. So there's a lot of time and money spent at the pharmacies, and just to be able to walk the next day. And that's the goal, is because your vehicle is your legs, it's your body.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of time and money spent on a daily basis by pilgrims. I know, because I was that pilgrim before, doing the blister surgery, going to the pharmacy, constantly looking for solutions to take my pain away and my inflammation and everything in my body so I could go out and survive the next day. I wish I had this microcurrent device with me on all those other 7 pilgrimages, or climbing Kilimanjaro, or I've done 20 marathons and 5 triathlons. If I had this with me, can you imagine the amount of not only a better performance and better experience during those events or pilgrimages, but not hurting myself, not having to suffer through all that pain, right?
Yeah, I have a friend who runs marathons, and she loves it, and she's been doing it for many, many years. And she ran the New York Marathon, and she beat her time by, I think it was, she said 20 minutes or 40 minutes. She beat her like PR. And she says the only thing that I had done different was I had prepped my body, my legs with that, with the microcurrent device. And she's like, I can, and she's like, and I didn't feel like she actually had a thought, did I actually run as hard as I possibly can? Because the next day I'm really tired. She has twins and and my husband has to take care of the twins so I can recover. The next day I was playing with the kids as if I hadn't, like, did I really run it that hard? Like I could have possibly could. She's like, And it was only because she had done one thing, was added this to her preparation and post.
Pre and post, that's right. To answer your question, that's a great story. So let's say I've got to get on the road. I'm usually out walking before the sun comes up on the Camino. I've got 5 minutes to spread between my legs and feet to get them ready. Say 5-10 minutes in the morning. That's less time than the average pilgrim spends on blister surgery to get their toes and their feet ready to start walking. And they have to walk in pain. There's a hobble that you see pilgrims do, and I'm like, oh, they got blisters or they've got shin splints. I can see it coming a mile away, and I feel bad because I know what it's like to be like injured, hurting on the Camino. That at the end of the day, when I finally get to wherever I'm going, I'd give myself another, like, say, 10-minute treatment between my legs and feet. And that's, once again, less time than a pilgrim takes to pop all their blisters, right? Or massage their legs. So in the amount of time pre and post that I did, I saved myself I gave myself a pain-free, problem-free Camino. So I was able to have such a much better experience out there and not have to quit early because of injury or problems.
How does someone get one of these if they're interested?
That's easy. So in 50 markets, so United States, it's called a Renew Spa, and in 50 other markets, so we're open in Europe, countries of Asia, South America, Australia, New Zealand, just about where most pilgrims come from to walk the Camino from all those different countries. This is available to them, and they can reach out to me. I'll have some links here as well. They can reach out to me, and I will happily get them information to learn more and what their options are to purchase. And I would love to hear all the wonderful stories from pilgrims who put this in the backpack and go have the most amazing pilgrimage because of it.
Well, thank you again, Amie. That was wonderful. Yeah, it's just, if anybody's interested, go for the links. Just get it, and it's the value that you're going to get from it compared to what could potentially happen out there in the Camino. Is the contrast is massive. So thank you for Amie, for sharing your story, and Buen Camino.
Buen Camino.